Obviously, we're going to talk a lot about the game last night, but let's start with Geno. I know you usually don't have updates in the morning, but I'll ask anyway because it's my job. Do you have any update on Geno this morning?
No, we're going through that right now, and we'll get the, normally by the press conference we have more info, and then sometimes you just don't. You get, it takes more time or whatever. But he seemed optimistic this morning, texting with him. So
okay.
You got that going for us?
You said yesterday that there was nothing structural. What does that mean when you say that?
Yeah, I think look, you're talking to the
right. You're not a doctor.
Yeah.
But what does that mean, not structural?
I mean, they do the tests and all that type of stuff, and it just seemed like everything was intact. And then there wasn't any. I think you got an X-ray. I think there's nothing broken. I think that's correct.
Okay. So essentially, that would rule out anything broken, and like an ACL, I would assume, is the first thing they're testing for.
Don't quote me on that, because right now that's like how I'm operating in terms of what I'm assuming.
So there's a possibility he could go next weekend, at least for what you know right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love to ask you on these Mondays, win or lose, what does the eye in the sky show? What did we all saw on national television? The TV optics. What does the tape show this morning, Mike?
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, it is a lot of like the things you felt like during the game. It felt like we didn't start the way we needed to. In a game like that, which is just going to get the fans going and rocking, and you want to get it off to a great start. Green Bay, I think they have like the top point differential in the first quarter, so we knew it was important to get started the right way, and we didn't. Offensively, had some opportunities to close some drives out. Thought we were moving the ball well early, and then that's definitely a point of emphasis for us is getting these things, closed out these drives in positive territory. So we're going to look at that and attack the heck out of it. And defensively, I thought our guys really responded after the first couple drives. We made a couple like schematic adjustments and how we're playing some stuff to calm everything down. And I thought after the first few drives, our guys really played hard and did a great job to keep us in the game.
Was the adjustments that you guys made defensively, without obviously getting into the extreme details?
Yeah.
How effective were those adjustments throughout the game?
Yeah, I mean, our guys just played better after the first couple drives, and then I think we did some things to put them in position so they can go do what they do, and that's our job as coaches. I wish we would have started the game with doing those things, but you're never going to start a game. You're never going to start every game perfect. Now we want to, and that's why you game plan, and but you also got to be able to kind of cut sunk costs and move forward. But our guy, we just executed better. I think we calmed down and kept ourselves in the game,
We've talked before, Brock and I have, and maybe we've even talked about it a little bit with you, of sort of the personality that each game takes on, right? Some are going to be shootouts, some are going to be, grinded out types of games. When in a game do you have a sense of what it's going to be and what kind of game you're in?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think you come up with. I think it varies based off the game. Some games really accelerate in the second half. Yeah, it's interesting. I think you kind of get it. I think last night you kind of felt. I mean, you felt there after the first couple of drives. Say, okay, like this game's going to go. In order for us to win, we got to kind of do X, Y, and Z here. So it kind of declared probably earlier than some games. Yeah, I think it varies. I think it varies in terms of when. It's not just like one certain. It's not like you hit like the second quarter and Now by the fourth quarter, normally the game is declared and. Normally middle of the third quarter, fourth quarter, the game's declared, and now you gotta go take it home.
You think there's something to just the emotion in the building last night, and an old Chip Kellyism? You got to play with emotion and not let emotion play with you. Was that a part of it? Maybe in the first couple drives there defensively, where you're so juiced and ready to hit Jacobs and everything else, and here comes fly sweep, and here comes screen, and here comes motion, and here comes all this stuff to kind of spin you a little bit.
Look, I mean, Green Bay deserves credit for their openers. They do a good job. We didn't. I mean, we just. I kind of like. It's all of us, right, Brock? It's what we were calling, how we were prepping it, what we expected them to do. The change-ups that they've done. Our guys are freaking fired up, and it was a great atmosphere. And I mean, we were juiced, man. We were juiced and ready to go. Just we didn't get it done early.
Staying on the defensive side of the ball for now, commentators last night a couple times talked about Ernest Jones as really emerging as a leader or the leader on this defense. Is that something you're seeing and want from your perspective?
Yeah, I think we have multiple leaders on defense and on the rest of our team for that matter. But Ernest is doing a great job, taking accountability, taking responsibility, stepping on the gas of the guys when he needs to. When he talks, people listen, and his play speaks for itself. But we love him, man. He's doing a great job, and of course, you want your middle linebacker to be a central leader on your team. So,
just out of curiosity, going back through your time, who is the best leader or some of the best leaders that you've been around, and some of the qualities that you're looking for in the leadership of your football team from the player side?
Yeah, I think you can do. The cool thing about leadership is you don't have to. It's not like words you say. It's really just it's about being you, and then bringing guys with you. So however that manifests itself. So some guys do it because they're just juiced all the time, and that's their personality. That's like a Devin Witherspoon. He's not going to be rallying the troops all the time, but guys follow him because of his energy and how he operates. Leonard does it his own way, which he's really great at it. Julian does it his way. Jay Reed does it his way. And Ernest has the common thread there is there's an authenticity, there's a realness, and it's an interest in the team about how well we play as a unit, and it's not about the individual. It's about how we play as a team.
This is probably going to trigger your linear thoughts here, so just give you a heads up. You mentioned the impact that you as coaches can have, right? And appreciated right away in the press conference, saying we didn't, do our job as coaches, and then the execution didn't follow and everything else. What way do you feel like, Mike, you really can, as a coach, impact that game? What are a few of the keys that, let you stand?
This game specifically?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I for sure learned some things about our team and our defense in specific. I probably schematic. I'll just kind of leave that out of the public sphere right now, just in case for future games and stuff. But you're always looking at, hey, how are we prepping the team to get ready to play? What are some things that we can do throughout the week to help us either mentally or understanding the environment we're going to play in, or the type of game, or how we're going to start. There's all these levers that you can kind of, as a coach, pull, whether what you're working on or messaging and things like that. So we're always thinking through that lens. And we haven't met as a full staff yet, but we'll talk about it in all three phases about what our thoughts were going to the game, and how those were right, and how we can get better. But really, we do that every game.
Sure.
I mean, we're always. I mean, it's the chasing edges mentality of, hey, we're growing, man. We're growing. We're in this process. We've done some good things. We've done some not so good things. We've fallen short a few times, but it's about, hey, making this team grow as fast as we possibly can, because we really feel like we can compete for division championship and then ultimately a championship with this crew.
How did the game change last night when Geno went down?
Well, I mean, I don't want to put a measure on it, but of course it changes when your quarterback goes down. You're on your backup center, and you're on your backup quarterback. So, I think, Sam was put in a tough spot, and we expect Sam to play better in those moments, and I know he can. I mean, this guy, it's all over the tape, and it's why he's here. It's why we love him, and if and when he gets his next opportunity, he's gonna do a great job.
You bring up the center switching also.
Yep.
Having never played the game at any sort of a high level, and certainly never played either quarterback or center, how big of a role did those two guys have together in figuring out the protection and that part of the game?
Well, I think Jalen did a great job coming in and filling. He took a couple plays to get kind of get his feet wet and get rolling, but he did a great job coming in for Olu. So he deserves a shout out. Now, it wasn't a good enough winning performance as a whole, but I think that's a bright spot from the game. And you just got to think there's only so many reps you can take throughout the week. So you're always trying to steal reps with the backups, whether it be post-practice or pre-practice and all the walkthroughs. Everybody can't take every rep all the time. So how you kind of get these mental reps and then go do it, and then you're dealing with limitations throughout the week. So trying to allocate it the best you can and get your starters ready to go. So the guys that when they do have to come in mid-game, that's why preparation is so important. So he was ready to go.
But with a quarterback, I mean, they have such a big effect on the offense, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they just so how much does a game plan stay the same versus change when you have to change quarterbacks in the middle of the game?
Well, it's gonna evolve a little bit. You're always calling the game and game plan through the lens of your players and what they do well. So felt like we were calling the stuff that we felt Sam executed well, that was in the game plan that he has a history of running and he's familiar with, and we just didn't get it done to the level that we needed to.
It was interesting this year for me, Mike, going out to Iowa, and they had a new OC and a guy I've known for some years. He's like, Brock, this place is different. I've never been around something like this. The starters get 60% of the reps. The backup gets 40% of the reps. This is like in game week as a developmental program. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's just a huge shift and change for me because most of the spots, the QBs get almost 100% of the reps, certainly in the non-walkthroughs. Is that how does Ryan handle that there? Is that a situation where Sam, did he get any reps during the week in the actual padded stuff?
Sam will get reps, but Geno's getting the vast majority of all the reps, and you need that.
Yeah.
But Sam's repping, and he's ready to go. I mean, like he knows exactly what to do, and he knows all the plays. I mean, that's like not even a non-starter. You know, I mean, he knows the protections. The guy like we haven't talked about it, but talk about like mental errors like that doesn't exist. That didn't exist in the game. It's just execution-wise, maybe it was a little fast for him and some of the reads, and which just wasn't congruent yet last night with like how the timing of the patterns and the pass protection, and then in the second half, especially when we had to be in throw-up mode, especially in the latter part of the fourth quarter. Green Bay did a great job of taking away some of those windows, and the pass rush came alive. And we wish we wouldn't have thrown the pick on the seam ball. But we're just battling, just to try to stay alive.
I think one of the more glaring numbers last night, and number figures don't lie, liars figure, but one of the more glaring numbers was 7 sacks to 0 sacks.
Yep.
As you kind of analyze that, what jumps out with that?
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, it's not a great stat, but it's a stat that I think illustrates the game a lot, Brock. Honestly, mm-hmm. I mean, defensively, we weren't able to create the passing. Now, Green Bay, they kind of hang their hat on, it's the run and the actions, and it's not a lot of drop back, and they do a great job with how they handle it. And so, but if you play the right way on defense and you can create some of those situations, and the quarterback can come alive, but we didn't do that. And so that's kind of the tale of the day defensively, and offensively, it works hand to hand. 7 sacks is way too many sacks. It's way too much pressure on our quarterback. We have to alleviate that pressure by how we call it and by how we block it and how we get rid of the ball and all the things that go into it. But also, as a team, staying out of those situations. That's getting a lead earlier. That's stopping them earlier. That's being more effective when we're running the football, and all those types of things play into giving up 7 sacks in a game. And obviously, that's way too many. So that's something that we're going to be working on.
I know you mentioned after the game last night that's not really a breakout for Jaxon Smith-Njigba, that this is sort of who he is.
Uh-huh. But
the numbers over the last month or so have certainly started to maybe reflect more of who he is. Maybe I've already kind of asked you this over the last few weeks, but I'll kind of keep digging at it because it's so impressive. What is happening to allow him to reach some of that potential right now?
I mean, this is not a good interview, but I'm going to say the same stuff that comes to mind. I mean, he's the same guy. He's the same guy that we knew when we showed up and put in the work, and you could tell, like, hey, this guy is a really good player. And it's not like we invented it when we showed up. I mean, he's a first-round pick and had a great college career, and that's who he is. That's who he is. But I mean, like, the talent, I would say, like, the talent, the skill set married with, like, the work ethic, the competitor, how everybody else is running the routes. I mean, look, DK is commanding a lot. I mean, you watch the tape, he's commanding a ton of attention. So if you're going to put 2 guys on 14, then that opens up space where Jack can do his thing. And Felt like Locke came alive a little bit last night too, which is great, and we got to keep that going.
Okay, so here's a couple things that are a little bit different than just that. How about 2 neutral zone penalties on Tyler Lockett? I've never in my life seen that. What was the emphasis? Where does that come from? I don't get that.
Yeah,
Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, I wish I could, Brock. Frankly, I mean, they told me they warned him, and
is he trying to cheat or something? Has he been trying to like get is his head over the line of scrimmage? I've never ever heard that called. Nor when he typically looks at the line judge, won't that line judge give him a little bit of like, hey man, like scoot back an inch or like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, I want to be toe the company line here, but we just got to figure out like the why behind it so we can avoid it moving forward. But yeah, it was definitely new to me. I mean, I was definitely surprised on both those calls. Okay,
and then take me into the decision to punt. Frankly, I don't have any issue with it. I kind of gave my opinion earlier, but just from your data and your analysis and kind of that game management, I always love hearing the details behind some of this. What went into that decision to punt there?
Well, I mean, I actually thought it was. Well, so it was about 9 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. So 9 minutes, 2-score game. The rule of thumb is if you're down 2 scores, you got to be down at least a score by 2 minutes. So you're talking about 7 minutes now to gain 1 score, which is an ample opportunity to do that. And I think we were gaining confidence in how we were operating on defense, and we were punting the heck out of the ball. So felt like we pushed them back, and then we could have gotten a field goal, get it to a 1-score game within, at the minimum 4 minutes, and you're okay. If you go for it and you don't get it, you play great defense, you get a field goal. Now you're talking about 2 touchdowns with about 6 to 7 minutes to go, which isn't impossible to overcome, but it's pretty dang difficult. Mm-hmm. And if you give up a touchdown there, it's probably ball game. So, yeah, I mean we liked our 4th and 5 plan, but that's not an easy down either. So, it's pretty straightforward, frankly.
Yeah. You're sort of hoping he takes that penalty, right? Rather have 3rd and 10.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, like a good game management rule of thumb is like, what do you want the other team to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that's like a good way of thinking about it.
Oh, so you almost kind of put yourself in his shoes and you're like, okay, he is hoping that I go for it here on 4th down. I better punt it.
I think you think through that lens, like when you're reviewing situations when you're not out there, like throughout the week and stuff, when you're prepping, like that's a good it's a good like test to say, okay, well, this is what we would probably do, and then you kind of flip it and say, well, what would they want us to do, and then that normally if it's confirmed with the numbers and like kind of with your with your overall philosophy and strategy, then it's probably the right thing to do.
Salk would tell you this, that over the years, one thing that's kind of made me vomit in my mouth a little bit is I try too hard. Oh, I just try too hard. Like when I hear that, I just don't really like that. Everybody's trying really hard. Everybody's really competitive. So I don't love the try too hard. And yet I used it myself this morning explaining some of these red zone interceptions with Geno, that he's just trying to force that touchdown and trying to score that touchdown. As you kind of analyze some of these red zone interceptions this year, about the only real critical element of Geno's games have been some of those turnover-worthy plays down there. Yeah. Has there been something to that? Some emphasis there that it's got to get corrected?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely an emphasis for our football team. It's about taking care of the ball. We knew going into this game that who took care of the ball better in these critical situations is probably going to win. And it's not the ultimate driving force, but I mean those takeaway stats are real, and especially when you move the ball and you get like that takes a lot of stuff to get into the red zone. A lot of things have to go the right way defensively. The ball gets down there, inevitably something kind of went awry to a certain extent. So, and that's time on the clock. That's a full possession. I mean, there's a lot of things. It becomes way more in terms of expected points and higher leverage situations. I mean, that's why they're so difficult. That's why it's such a tough pill to swallow when that happens, because you only get so many trips in the red zone. So this as a team, as a football team, we got to be able to close drives out better.
If Sam has to start this weekend, and we'll wait and see here over the next couple of days, what does he do best?
Well, I know this from going against Sam personally. He's a ultimate competitor. I mean, this guy's an absolute dog. Like he's just gonna he's going to fight and claw, and everything he's absolutely got he's going to lay it on the line. And I mean, that's a guy that I want playing for us, you know. And so, and if again, look, we'll see how it plays out with the injuries and stuff. But now you're looking at a full week's worth of reps. He'd be ready to go. But we're optimistic that Geno's back too. But like whoever's pulling the trigger for us, we get. Man, these guys, I mean, they work their tails off, and they're prepared. They'll be ready to go.
Will you and Jack get an opportunity to watch the Bears and Vikings tonight? Is it going to be on your lap tonight? We get home and kind of take that in?
I mean, this sounds kind of cold, but no.
How come?
I'm here, man. I'm working.
Oh, all right. So you won't even watch the game at all, even though it's your next two opponents?
It'll be on the TV.
Okay.
But yeah.
Back of the, like, not even.
Yeah, if we're on the East Coast, it'll be a little different because the game gets done at
Right.
whatever. But this is done at like whatever time we're here.
So essentially, watching that tape, it doesn't really help you much. You have to watch the film rather than watching the TV
copy.
broadcast to see what's going on there.
Well, these are like, I mean, right now, these are valuable hours, right? From now, like as soon as we turn the page from Green Bay to Minnesota, which will happen here over the next couple hours, like we're rolling. You know, you can't be waiting around. So you got to use the information that's available to you. And then, you know, on a Monday night game, okay, now we'll turn around that game and kind of add that to the, you know, to the sauce of about what we have cooking, and then evolve from there. But you're not going to put you're not just going to like put all your chips in one pile on like, hey, this was what they were doing versus what they did do, and then like it's going to change because we're different teams. Teams play us a certain way.
I mean, he could come in the bassinet, right, in the coach's office. He should hang out in there.
That would be a massive mistake.
How is the little guy?
He's doing great.
Yeah,
he's doing great.
All right,
That's awesome.
Good. Quickly, what kind of challenges Minnesota present?
Well, I mean, they're just again. They're a really good football team. I gotta do a lot of homework over the next day or two to really get acquainted with these guys. But it seems like they're a really opportunistic group, similar to Green Bay. Same tree offense, you know, the things we have to be able to handle. Really talented roster on both sides of the ball. We see them on crossover tape all the time, and you got to be ready for all the pressure packages and things like that they offer. And we've done a great job of that throughout the year. Now we're gonna have to tailor it, you know, to these guys. So. Excited about it, man. I mean, we get an opportunity to move forward and like, I mean, 3-game stretch here against really good football teams, but everything we want is still in front of us. And this is a great learning opportunity for us. Our guys we're going to go, like we said last night, like show up tomorrow and let's just come out and attack. Just go attack all the things. Let's figure out what we learned. Let's move forward. And, let's go have a heck of a week.
All right. 3 games left to go here in this season. Starts with Minnesota on Sunday. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. We got to get out.